Okay, so picking up from yesterday, you guys arrived back in Baldur's Gate on the Brazen Pegasus. You stayed the night at the Elfsong Tavern, where Eartha was outfitted with the prosthetic limb, the clockwork arm, where his left arm was formerly before it was taken by a shark in the Sea of Swords. And yeah, you spent most of that session at the Elfsong Tavern. Samurai, you investigated a Sahuagin that had been living upstairs in one of the rooms that you were asked to take a private meal to. You kind of looked into that with Alan. And then, yeah, the following day, after a restful night's sleep, Samurai, you went to Sorcerer's Sundries to see Rivelin, Black Hand, who you took Jade to get checked out because you are concerned that, or you are conscious that Jade is behaving strangely, almost pseudo intelligently. And then after that, you went to the Wide to purchase some things, a present for Eartha and a present for Anya, which then tumbled into a round trip around the globe where you pinged over quite a few miles to Waterdeep, where you then required a lot of people's help before finally realizing you couldn't get back without sleeping, so you hunkered down on the floor of Aurora's Emporium in Waterdeep to get in a long rest, or a short rest, so you could cast Teleportation Circle to get back. While Anya and Eartha had went to Little Calamshan, one of the outer city neighborhoods of Baldur's Gate, one of the shanty towns, which is exclusively populated by Kalashite refugees from Calamshan. To find Rilsa Rael, who is the kingpin of this neighborhood, much like Goblin Benny was, and the Whiskey Lady who you'd encountered before. Because you'd heard she is offering a bounty, and she presumably has information on this Green-Cloak killer who has been terrorizing the poor outer city population shanty towns for quite a while, because this had started the last time you were in Baldur's Gate, which was several months ago. And coming back, it seems to have just continued on, and the Flaming Fist hasn't really been doing much about it. So Anya and Eartha, you've headed to Little Calamshan to get some more information on it, and the Amlakars, the kind of the militia guard at the front gate, had directed you to Rilsa Rael, and one of them is going to escort you to her up on the battlements. Kind of, Little Calamshan is walled. It's the only outer city neighborhood to have its own wall. This brick and plaster wall, about 15 foot tall, 5 feet thick, and it's kind of used more than anything as a way of, it kind of spider webs the inside of the neighborhood as well, and it's kind of used as elevated walkway by a lot of the population. I think that pretty much covers it. So honestly, by the time that's happening, in terms of the timeline's messy. By the time Eartha and Anya are just getting to Little Calamshan, Samurai, we'll say just for the sake of convenience, that's when you're going to sleep in Waterdeep. We'll say you are really speedy. And so you've got, was it 4 hours?
Yeah, 4 hours.
So there are 4 hours of time to pass before you can teleport back to the teleportation circle, Rivelin's teleportation circle, in Sorcerer's Sundries on one of the upstairs floors. So we'll pick up with Anya and Eartha and one of these Amlakars. Like I said, the Amlakars are kind of these kind of just like they're like desert knights, they're like these Arabian knights equivalents. They have the one that is escorting you is wearing like light chainmail with some leather. He has dusty, kind of amberish brown skin and short black hair, actually kind of long at the sides, and some stubble. And he has 2 scimitars sheathed on either side of his waist. He's like, okay, follow me up. Take you to Rilsa. And yeah, he kind of escorts you up a staircase that just behind the gate that climbs up this brick and plaster staircase that climbs the wall 15 feet high up to the battlements. And again, the staircase and the battlements only 5 feet wide, and there's no banister or anything like that. It's you could fall and hurt yourself. It's not a super big fall, but you can still fall and hurt yourself if you're not careful. So he leads you up and he kind of guides you around before he kind of points out a woman who was kind of she seems to be kind of in one of the the word is escaping me. Where's the word? In one of the minarets, one of these like small tower-like constructions, you see a woman who seems to be patrolling, and this Amlakar points her out as Rilsa Rael. Rilsa is a lithe woman, very rogue-like. Doesn't look like she eats super well. Being not being super rich or anything like that. Short, dusty, black hair, and similar amber-colored skin, and just wearing a kind of a long brown cloak and a light brown tunic. She appears to just be on patrol, kind of slowly wandering the battlements, observing beneath. The Amlakar points her out. That is real, sir. Make yourself known. And he heads back down the staircase.
Oh, do you want to go first, or should I?
You go first.
Right. Okay. I'll approach.
As you approach the minaret, she kind of takes a few steps back and turns to greet you. I am surprised my Amlakars let you in. You must have a good purpose for being here.
Yeah, we've heard you've been having trouble with murders, and we're here to try assist where we can.
You'll hear about the Green-Cloak killer. That is strange. Baldurians are not particularly helpful.
Not a Baldurian.
Okay. I suppose that explains that. But, I assume you're interested in the bounty?
More or less, yeah.
Well, we are currently offering 600 gold pieces for the ending of the slayings. Otherwise, if the gold does not interest you, I am a representative of the guild. You may exchange it for a favor, or whether you have one in mind, or whether you would like one down the road. Do you know which particularly interests you, or would you like to go about doing your job first?
We'll do the job first and see which one piques our interest in the end.
Very good. I will not hold my hopes out. Plenty have been hunting him or her for several months, and little has come of it. Is there anything you would like to ask of me, or?
Yeah. Do you know how often he kills, or how often it kills? Whereabouts? I'd like to see the last crime scene, if there is one. How they go about killing. That would be another good bit of information if you have that.
As far as I am aware, the attacks happen nigh on every night. All but a few have ended with the death of the victim. A few have just been hurt to a terrible extent. The sightings have described most of the describings describe him as male, but some have described it as ambiguous, unable to tell the gender. But a pale figure, pale skin, green cloak, the people of the outer city are convinced that it is a member of the Patriarchs that is attacking the residents of the shanty towns. And from your interactions with the Aomanes, you went to the Aomane house party. You know the Aomanes are one of the Patriarch families. A Patriarch family is kind of like a noble family of Baldur's Gate. So there are a lot. You can either pretty easily Google it, or just for us, I'm just going to drop it in our Facebook Messenger chat. It's a full map of Baldur's Gate. So the outer city, let me try and describe this to you if you were to look at a map. The outer city is everything from the bridge, Worms Crossing, and Rivington, all the way to the right, all the way following the road up until the wall at Stony Eyes. All of that are different outer city neighborhoods, different shanty towns. So pretty much just the right half of the map is shanty towns underneath the shadow of Dusthawk Hill, this big hill in the middle. So the left half of the map, the walled area, that's the actual city. And then pretty much the right half of the map is shanty towns outside the city. There is one exception, Blackgate at the top left is an outer city town, but it's less destitute than the ones to the right. So yeah, it's pretty much from, you got Stony Eyes, Norchapel, Little Callumshan, Whitkeep, Tumbledown, Sowsfoot, Twin Songs, Worms Crossing, and Rivington. Worms Crossing and Little Callumshan are probably the most notable of the shanty towns. Little Callumshan I've already described a lot, but Worms Crossing is literally a bridge, a huge bridge that crosses the River Chyanthar, and there is a town on the bridge. There are like buildings built on the side of the bridge that sometimes just fall off into the ocean, if there's a bad storm. So it's a very dangerous place to live. But yeah, if you can imagine like a town built on top of a bridge, houses like leaning off the sides. It's a very dense area because obviously it's a very poor population out here. So yeah, so you can view that at your leisure.
Can I ask something even though I'm not there?
Yeah, sure.
You said the skin was pale. What was the skin, like, the look of the skin on the Air Genasi, which was working with Damon and Cyric?
Sure, I'll, so, Air Genasi's, pale, you could see someone describing an Air Genasi as pale, but you think it does sound similar. You think this person is describing like bluish, palish white, and it's not dissimilar. It's not dissimilar. Yeah.
Cool.
Can I ask some?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a series of questions, but I'll just start with one. How many murders were there?
Rilsa kind of rubs the back of her neck. Honestly, I'm not sure. It's been nearly, not every night, but most nights for the last 4 or 5 months. So we are talking in the hundreds.
Wow. So, okay.
It's like one.
And have these... Has it been a slaughter each night, or has it just been one individual person every event?
The attacks have been described to me. I have never myself seen this individual. Little Callumshan has seen the least of the attacks, probably because we are walled, and we have our own private guards force. But the attacks have been described by residents of the outer city to me as brutal, by a silent, unspeaking individual. And the reason he is believed to be of the upper classes is his cloak. The Patriarchs, not so much recently, maybe because of the attacks, I'm not sure, but the uniform of the Patriarchs is a fanciful green cloak with their house's emblem emblazoned on the back. He wears one of these garments. It is said to have a an image on the back, although the descriptions are varying. They do not all match, so I could tell you several, but not tell you which one has the most stock. Yes, many who have glimpsed him have described him as pale, or her, again, not sure. But no one has ever been able to confront or follow them to where they came from. They have been described as melting into the fog after each slaying. They emerge as if from nowhere, a brutal attack, most of which end in the victim perishing, and then they seem to fade into the fog that so often enshrouds Baldur's Gate every night, as if they were never there. No one has found where they came from, where they go.
How did these people die? Like, how exactly were they impaled? Were they magically killed? Were they? How did they die?
I am not totally sure, but some scenes have been described as bloody, implying a weapon, but most of the ones I've heard more detailed accounts of were pugilist. They involved fist, strangling, and even a few involved a shortened noose that he used as a garrote. But some of the scenes have been described as bloody, but I have never heard tell of a weapon besides from this noose that some have been described as seeing.
I have 2 more questions.
That's fine. Yeah.
Where did all of these murders take place? Was it in a very close vicinity, or just if there's some kind of pattern?
They are scattered all throughout the outer city neighborhoods. There have been attacks in Stony Eyes, Tumbledown, Norchapel, Rivington, Twinsong, Sowsfoot, Whitkeep, Blackgate, even here in Little Calamshan, though we are by far the least molested. And the last attack was last night in Worms Crossing on the bridge. Yes. I'm told there are several witnesses. If you wish to speak to any of them, I'm sure you can track them down there.
Last question is, you said that people had caught a glimpse of the killer. Any identification as to how they moved? Did they, like, I don't know how to describe it. Do they did they walk human-like, or did they?
Do they have legs?
They appeared humanoid. They were described as a pale, again, man in most cases, but some are not as sure. Definitely a stocky figure. Humanoid legs, arms, face, pale skin, Green-Cloak, fine-ish clothing, if not threadbare. The cloak is described much the same, threadbare, worn, old. Some, again, the narrative from within the city walls, in Baldur's Gate herself, is that it is a serial killer preying on the residents of us here in the shanty towns. The narrative outside the walls here is different. Many of the folk here believe it to be a vigilante, enacting their twisted justice on us out here. Some dark-minded member of the aristocracy who has decided their hatred of us needs to be taken out in a pugilist manner, and we need to be taken care of physically, mortally. So it really depends. I myself do not know. I do not claim to be so biased that I think it is actually some deranged member of the patriarch families. I do not know. But the attacks, they haven't become more rampant. Sometimes a night passes without any attack. Or maybe that is simply nights where the attacks are not reported. They are not seen, or they happen where they are not noticed. It is not known. Yes, I cannot tell you much more, but if you have more questions, I am happy to answer them. The Flaming Fist do not patrol outside of the city walls. They do not consider us members of Baldur's Gate. You have asked more questions than any guardsmen or detectives from inside the city walls ever have.
Question. So you gave a list of places where these murders happened. Would you be able to give me a list of these in order?
I can try to track down. Yeah, I can. I probably will not. Again, I cannot even document all of the cases. It is not so much my job, and since there is no real governance in the outer city, there is no one keeping strict track of it. But I can tell you the last few. The last one was last night in Worms Crossing. The one previous was in Sow's Foot. The one previous to that was in Stony Eyes. The one previous to that was in Rivington. And I cannot remember much more beyond that.
That's okay. That's very helpful. Thank you.
If I remember more, I will have someone find. Is there anywhere I can find you if I need to contact you?
Elsong Tavern's probably the best place to send a letter.
I will leave a message there if you are not present and I need to get in contact with you.
Thank you for your time.
So
It's quite alright. Thank you for your interest. I will continue about my day and good luck. I sincerely hope there is something you can do. Oh, great detectives of wherever you're from. And yes, thank you. And she kind of a courteous, very light bow, not very deep, and heads on her way.
As I'm walking away, I'm going to turn to Annie and go, world's greatest detective.
You gotta solve a case first.
I will
Detective.
Right,
So, yeah, you've still got 3 hours and 45 minutes before Samura's even finishing off with the rest of his stuff.
Should we head to Worms Crossing then? The last crime scene?
Yeah, I'm down the head there. We have quite a walk.
How long will it take us?
No, the scale is a bit misleading because obviously it's just a city, so the scale isn't very big. So if you look in the bottom left corner of the map, you'll see like that it's got a scale. So a mile is that much. So it's probably about a mile and a half from you. Yeah, honestly, the beginning of Worms Crossing is probably just about a mile from you, but then the bridge itself is about half a mile long. So I've just dropped in our group chat a picture of Worms Crossing, which again can be quickly found from Googling, just so you can visualize it a bit better. But I'll also describe it because the picture doesn't say quite enough. So yeah, Worms Crossing. This neighbourhood is actually 2 enormous bridges, each spanning half of the Chiantha River and meeting in the middle on this rocky island with a fort built in the middle, with like 2 like drawbridges kind of thing. So in case of an attack, those bridges could just be sealed off and you couldn't get over the bridge fully. And that fort in the middle is called Worms Rock. So the bridges are Worms Crossing, and the fort in the centre is Worms Rock. That fort is maintained by the Flaming Fist, but mainly, to tax travellers coming in and control city access in times of trouble. They don't actually do much, for the population there. They're not very helpful. The bridges themselves are fair game for squatters. That's why it's covered in houses and little shops and things like that. Like you can see, it's a very crowded place with houses. Even like some places you have to climb a ladder off the side of the bridge to get down to houses that are just built clinging to the sides. Ramshackle wooden tenements, taverns, shops crowd both sides of the arched stone spans, leaning out over the narrow road between them. Even more cling to the sides of the bridges, anchored to each other, or cantilevered over the water. The tendency of these latter structures, the ones on the sides of the bridges, like just hovering over the water, is, occasionally in like a bad storm, they'll fall down and like drag other ones down. If they're attached by staircases or ladders, they'll pull more down with them, crashing into the river. Yeah, but this doesn't even really deter people from still building them because they need somewhere to live. And if you live on Worms Crossing, besides from I'm blanking on the name. Besides from Rivington, you are the first people that travelers will see, and they're the first ones to try and sell you something on the bridge. And yeah, this attracts all sorts of, bad people with bad reputations, rakes, riffraff, seedy dive bars, gambling halls, belligerent drunks. But the danger is, some of these establishments, if you get into a particularly nasty fight or some of these establishments kick you out, you might just end up flying down to the river and you could end up dead or washed out to sea or washed down bank. Probably the most tight-knit community on the bridge are the Strongheart Halfling community. Low ceiling tenements, because they don't need as much space, so they've got low ceilings. They're lighter because they're lighter as well. So that's kind of Worms Crossing. So you guys arrive. You spend, we'll say, you got to walk a mile. Not very far. We'll say 20 minutes, half an hour, walking through a nice, because it's pretty early doors. It's like 11 a.m., 12 midday. So you make your way to through the other shanty towns, which, like I said, these ones are much more difficult to tell apart. Whereas Little Calamshan is walled and Worms Crossing is a bridge, these ones just kind of bleed into each other. They're each known for different things. Like, some are known for fields, some are known for fishing, some are known for butchering houses. But yeah, Whitkeep kind of bleeds into Sowsfoot, which kind of bleeds into Twin Songs. And all the while, on the right of you, there is this huge hill, Dusthawk Hill, just this low grass, kind of yellowy grass hill that is quite tall. And in the evening, the shadow kind of casts over the shanty towns. And yeah, but you arrive at the Baldur's Gate side, the north side of Worms Crossing. And yeah, so you're not exactly sure where in Worms Crossing this attack happened. What would you like to do? Would you like to talk to people, talk to guards, talk to locals? What's the plan? What do you want to do?
Well, I think both the both the locals and the police force.
Yeah, so you want to try and track down some locals and some members of the Flaming Fist.
Yeah.
Place to start is the tavern.
Sure. If you want to try and find a dive bar, being probably the seediest place in the city, there are dive bars here that are open at midday that are like, not busy, but like more than a few people. So it's, there are people there. So you can pretty quickly find some hole-in-the-wall dive bar, just off the main road. You don't have to go climbing down onto the more dangerous parts of the neighborhood, hanging over the river. But yeah, you do see, you do find a hole-in-the-wall, dimly lit dive bar, which is pretty much just got like, it's just the wall itself is just the bar, and then it's got a bunch of stools out on the street. And there's a pretty gruff-looking orc serving bar, tending bar, and 3 or 4 people drinking at the side. Yeah, what would you like to do?
Go up to the bartender.
What do you want? What are you having?
I'd like to know a bit of information about Zerd. And
You got coin?
I was about to say, I literally pull out a gold coin and slide it across the table.
He kind of turns up a glass and puts it on top and flings it towards himself. He bites it. Yeah, alright. I've got information. What about?
The murder last night. I need to know all you know about it. Where it was, who was hurt, any witnesses.
Well, I don't know who it was. I know his name. People have been talking about it. Name was Davith. He was a fisherman. he was walking home late last night. Fog rolled in from the river, and that patriarch cunt cut him down, and yeah, it's about as much as I know. Heard he's got powers, hides in the mist, can't see him. He only emerges to attack, then he's gone.
Do you know where about this happened?
Yeah, it was just a little ways down the road outside Dantalon's.
That Dantalon's dancing arts.
Yeah, one of the better shops here.
Right. Do you know any witnesses that saw firsthand?
Just a few, 2 or 3 locals described what happened, said who it was. Don't know them personally, word got around.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Can I quickly ask a question?
Yeah, go.
So this man, Davith, did he have any family?
Yeah, I think so. I think he had a wife. Don't know about kids. Didn't know him personally, but I think he had a wife. Pretty sure he didn't live in Worms Crossing. Think he lived over in Twin Songs, but he was fishing over in Rivington. Walked back across the bridge.
And what is the surname?
Hey, Mickey. One of the half elves kind of fall asleep. Goes, what? What was fucking Davis' second name? The one, he's dead. What's the matter? He paid for it. It was Rivet. Rivet. Davith Rivet.
Thank you very much.
Anything else I can get you?
I'll be over.
Be on your way. Blocking business.
Turn
Cool.
around and walk out.
Yeah. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna head to. Well, I'm gonna ask Anya. Do you want to see the family first, or do you want to head further down to the crime scene?
I think we should go to the crime scene first.
Then we'll head there.
Been left there or anything.
Yeah, so pretty quickly continuing towards Worms Rock in the centre, you come across Danthalon's Dancing Axe, which is an emporium of sorts here on Worms Crossing. And you see a little ways before it, just the cobbles of the road in the kind of not in the centre of the road, but kind of towards the right on the side of the bridge that Danthalon's is, on the side of the street. Just blood stained the cobbles, kind of like the cracks in between cobblestones, kind of just flowing down a bit towards the lowest point. No one's cleaning it up. No one has any the body's been taken away. You don't know where it's been taken away. Maybe to a morgue somewhere, or maybe it's just been thrown in the river. But yeah, the blood. It's still a bloody scene. The cobbles are still stained with blood, and it's still flowing down to the lowest point. Yeah, you can see like a few people kind of look at it like someone should clean that up, but no one seems to be doing it. Yeah, that's all you see currently. Yeah.
Right. I would like to investigate the area.
Sure. Make an investigation check. I'll say with advantage because Anya's there with you, so you can have advantage.
23.
23. Yeah, you find some extra detail. You find a bloody handprint on the curb, and kind of following that trail a bit, you follow kind of the flowing of the blood, and you do see it does look like, even though because it's been 12 plus hours, the flowing of the blood has kind of, and the drying has kind of covered it up a bit, but it does appear to be like a drag almost that's been covered up by it. Like either the person was dragged a bit, or they crawled a bit. Like they didn't die immediately, they crawled a bit and dragged some blood along the ground, and there is a bloody handprint on the curb where maybe they were trying to you think maybe they were trying to pick themselves up or something, trying to push themselves up by getting on the more even curb. Yeah, and you also see, this doesn't match quite with the asphyxiation narrative, but Rilsa had described some of the scenes as more bloody, and yeah, you're not. Other than that, you don't see anything. There's been a lot of foot traffic through here through the last 12 hours, so there's nothing else immediately that's standing out to you, except it doesn't look like the person died immediately.
Is there any sign of like? No, I don't know how to word that. Can I check any back alleyways? Do you think there's any back alleyways near here?
No, there are plenty of alleyways because they need access to like the ladders and staircases that climb off the bridge top down towards the tenements hanging over the side. So yeah, very very easily you can find a nearby alleyway. Make a perception check with advantage.
19 plus whatever my plus is.
19.
Well,
You follow
plus,
an alleyway.
Plus the plus, so it's
Plus
30 something.
30 something. Yeah. So, where would you like to go? Would you like to go all the way? Would you like to just check in the alleyway, or would you like to go like all the way through the alleyway and maybe down a ladder down onto like some tenements, or are you just
Do that. See if there's any like hidden paths.
Sure. So you follow the nearest, kind of the direction the handprint was going. You kind of find the nearest alley, kind of line up your line of sight, follow that direction, and follow it through. You find an alley in that general direction. You head down it. At the end, just a sharp drop that drops off into the river, but you do see a ladder going down. You and Anya can head down. You end up on the roof of someone's house, and another ladder goes down onto another ladder goes down to like a wooden platform that you can use to walk into the front door. And you follow that through. And what was your perception check, sorry?
13.
So it's good.
Okay,
Yeah. So you kind of think like, okay, I'm not really seeing anything, but then you notice, you cast a glance down, and you see like the arcs of the bridge, one of those bits where like two of the arcs meet and there's like a stone column. You see something's caught in the flow of the river, like the flow of the river has pushed it into the side of the stone, and it's kind of gotten trapped there. And it's just something that looks odd. You can't make out what it is. It just doesn't look. Probably like. Let me double check for you. Far, like 50 feet down, 30 to 50 feet down.
More than 15. Then.
Yes.
Huh. What is it exactly? Do we not know what it kind of looks like? Is it just
You can't make it out exactly.
Well,
If you
the
the
spyglass.
It's a scope on a gun at the moment.
you could.
Can you not
So
just look
use it.
through it
I
still?
can still use it actually, yeah.
So Ellis, you take out Echo, your musket with a spyglass attached as a scope, and you aim it down at the bottom and take a look. I'll say, as well with that, with Anya's help, make another perception check with advantage.
28.
28. Yeah. At first, you thought it might be a an animal of some kind, but it appears to be a human arm is stuck in the flow of the river. It does appear to be. It's going kind of, dead. It's going kind of bluish, grossish pale blue. And and it does appear like it's being gnawed on a bit by like river life, fish, and the kind of stuff. Small animals that would be living out at this point in the river, so close to like a major human settlement. But it does appear it's been like nibbled on. But it has been torn, and you're very familiar with fish and eating arms, so you see a human arm caught in the flow of the river down at one of these stone columns that hold up Worm's Crossing.
Can I try get judgment on how long it's been
Sure. I'll say make a medicine check. It'll have to be really good though, because you've got to take a factor in like the river and then time and then blah blah blah. So yeah, it's got to be good. 13. You're not sure. If it wasn't, you would guess it's been there like a while, like a few days, but the river might speed that up, slow that down. You have no idea. Yeah, Jess?
I was gonna ask Ellis, do you want the arm? Like, do you want it to actually see it up close?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. Well, I how much does the arm weigh?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Enough for a magical hand to pick it up.
Yes, I'm gonna cast Mage Hand. And
what's the distance on Mage Hand?
30 feet.
It's 50 feet down.
Damn.
Wait,
I've got an idea.
Mage weight. I think Mage Hand
Just
can't. You
want
can
you to
cast
hold
it
my
within
hand.
30 feet.
Oh yeah, just dangle me over the bridge.
Yeah, just dangle over the bridge. Yep.
Okay.
Well, Jackson's looking
I'm
into
not
something.
gonna have to make strength checks, or
Oh yeah.
Never mind. I was wrong.
Jackson was wrong.
it's worth the risk. We'll do it.
I'll
Right.
undo
So,
some
sorry,
of the
what's the
bandages.
plan?
So I'm going to undo some of the bandages. I'm going to
Okay.
lay Jess down with
With
my
the Mage
hand,
Hand.
so she can get within range to use Mage Hand to pick it up,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to pull it back up.
30 plus 15 is 45.
Still not far enough.
You've
I
got
will-
like 50 feet of rope.
I will
think I do.
I will say, you can do it without the rope if you also lower yourself, but you are realistically running a risk of you both falling in.
Well, I have advantage on upper body strength checks,
True.
so I'm willing to risk it if Jess is.
I'll say what you have to do is, shoot your hand just off the edge so it then falls, the chain then falls limp over the side. Then you will have to position yourself pretty far back so Anya can comfortably get on, start climbing down, and then you have to follow her a bit until you get right to the edge and lower yourself with her weight pulling on you. So, but yeah, you do have advantage, but that's going to be alongside a disadvantage, so it's going to even out.
What's around us, out of curiosity?
Just you're on a platform, a small platform, 5 foot wide, 10 feet long, that has a front door, a small window, and a ladder that goes up to the roof. The entire residence itself maybe looks like it's 20 square feet. It's not a big. It's like a shack hanging off the side of this place that is only reachable by a ladder. Yeah, Jess?
Is there any? So you said that the arm's in a column. Does the column have any base where you can stand?
A little. It looks like it's partially built onto natural stone, like a little outcropping of natural stone. It looks very slick and slippy and wet, but it looks possible. It's all about good rolls.
What we could do, Jess, is I'll tie the rope around me
Mm-hmm.
and use my hand to hold on to something, and then you can dangle off the side with the rope.
This is the fun you can have when one of you cunts doesn't have wings. You see what I'm saying?
Can I just say, I'm not going to tell them how, but they're buffoons, Bradley. Buffoons.
Yeah, well, I'm also... Actually, I'm going to say afterwards. You go.
Yeah.
What
Come on, guys, have fun.
What I had in mind was, but obviously, I don't know whether it's safer. I was going to use Dimension Door to kind of get down there, and then.
It's possible. You could do it. It's just... You would have to kind of...
Back up. Huh? I don't know. Oh yes, I will. Will I?
Yeah.
Yes.
As long as it's not 5th level, you could just cast it again if you needed to.
think it is 5th level.
It's 4th level.
Yeah, then you can just cast it again.
So I have three. Okay. Okay. I'll probably do that instead, so I'm not putting Eartha at risk as well. Okay.
Completely up to you guys, however you want to do it.
Is that better, Ellis? If I just cast Dimension Door, it's a little bit easier.
If you want it. However you want. If you think that's going to be easier, do that.
Okay. Why not? Take the risk. Right. I'll do it.
So, on like a free bit of wall on this person's like shack hanging over the river, you cast Dimension Door, and Eartha, looking over the side, you see it like the rocky outcropping at the bottom of this stone column. A door open up, and you can kind of see yourself through it. It's kind of trippy. And Anya quickly steps out, and so you are now. It's kind of like being on a ledge, like about 1 foot wide. So you're kind of like pressed back against the door.
God.
So you kind of have to like try and like balancing, lean out and grab and like pluck it out of the river. So I'll say, make a straight acrobatics check.
Oh heck! Right.
Or athletics. I'll let you decide. Acrobatics or.
Oh, actually, I have a +8 to my acrobatics, so that's
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. Right. Oh, that's good. 24.
24, yeah. So back pressed against the wall, and now that you're like right down at the river, it's not super fast running here, but you're definitely getting like spray kind of hitting you in the face a bit and like messing up your hair and like damping your clothes. As the water kind of rushing down here kind of splashes into the rock, it kind of washes up on you a bit, and kind of timing these various splashes a bit, you kind of go for the right moment, and you holding on to whatever bit of the wall you can, kind of clutching onto some stone. You kind of lower yourself onto a sideways knee, and then switch hands, lower yourself onto a lower rock, and you quickly dip in, grabbing the arm. Unfortunately, you are now grabbing a dead human arm, and you pull it out, and yeah, there is this gross, blue, wet, dismembered human arm with various fish nibblings on it. There's even like a crab dangling from like the open wound at the bottom that, as you kind of shake it a bit, falls off and splashes into the water. You now have a human arm.
Cool. I'll just Dimension Door back to where I originally was.
Cool, yeah. So you and Eartha seeing the same thing. Anya reappears behind you, holding the human arm, probably at like arm's length, kind of icky style, like, ew, this is gross. So you've recovered. Anya can put it down on the ground, and you can make it depends what you're trying to discern here, and it's either going to be medicine or survival.
Any bite marks, claw marks that aren't like fish?
Okay. I'm going to say medicine then. But I'm going to give you advantage because Anya is helping.
Oh, I've got a +5 in medicine.
15. It looks like brute force. The actual wound, it looks like the arm has been torn. Not in the same way your arm was like bitten into and then like and ripped. This looks like one big clean tear. Something with tremendous force just tearing it off. And then obviously, it was a little bit difficult to tell at points because of the fish nibbling, but you're pretty sure it's just brute force versus a scrawny, poor man's malnourished arm.
What side arm is it on? Left or right?
Same as yours, left.
I tried to attach it to my arm.
You have an arm there, so it doesn't work.
No. What was the handprint upstairs? Was that left or right?
It was right.
Shall we continue down the pathway?
Yeah. We're just taking the arm with us, or we just...
That's a good question. Well, do you want to keep it? Do you reckon it's still going to be usable?
I mean, no, but if we... I don't know. If we think of anything...
what point in the arm was useful.
I'd drop it back in the river.
Okay.
Well, now I've got more hunches that it's not a human. I'm starting to think this is like a vampire. Appears in
You see a happy little crab climb on top of the arm and ride it off into the sunset.
I'm feeling.
Did you say it turned blue, or did you say
blue because it's blue because it's dead, it's detached, it's in the river. It's rigor mortis.
So it could have just.
But I'm thinking brute force. The fact that he's only using like his hands, he appears in mist and disappears in mist. I'm thinking probably a vampire. Only it comes out at night.
I'm thinking it's me.
It can't be. You're in Waterdeep.
Just for the sake of keeping track, I'll say at this point, we'll say you two are heading back to the initial crime scene, the pool of blood. We'll say it's been a fair, we'll say 2 hours for the sake of evenness into your long rest, Samura. Yes, Anya?
I was going to say, so this happened outside the Emporium, didn't it?
Yes, it happened outside Danthalon's dancing axe. Not directly, it's just the closest landmark to be like, if you go at Danthalon's dancing axe, you can't miss it, because it's on the way.
It didn't happen outside, it just...
Happened about 15-20 feet away. So not super far away, but close-ish.
What else is around that area? Is it just houses, or is it other shops as well? Or...
Most of it looks like tenements, squalor housing, but across the street from Danthalon's is another just like hole-in-the-wall dive bar. Pretty similar. But this one, as you get closer, it doesn't appear to be a bar. It appears to be like a food place, like just a street food place where there's like some grimy chef who's putting out half-good food to anyone who will buy it. So it appears to just be, that.
So do you think it's worth asking anyone around that area, Alice, or do you just want to skip past it, or...?
I'm going to ask and see what they come up with.
Because they may have... Yeah, they might have more insight into... they might have witnessed more.
Yeah, who do you guys want to try and talk to?
Probably just best... Well, I don't know, just kind of... I don't know, just anyone in that kind of area.
Food seller, so he's going to go right outside.
Yeah. Go there then.
Yeah. You see, just kind of a very tired-looking, dark bags under his eyes, half-elf, kind of wearing a very limp chef's hat. It's kind of fallen to the side, kind of looks like a squashed beret. And he's kind of just chopping fish at the minute on the open counter. And you see like a bird just lands and kind of steals a bit of the fish, and he's like, and he slashes with the butcher's knife, and it flies off. And he doesn't sanitize the rest of the food. He just kind of keeps chopping and slugs it off into a barrel. As you approach, he's like, "Can I get you today's special, or are you returning?"
Looking for a bit of information about.
Can you pay?
Yeah.
All right.
Pass her the gold coin across the counter.
Again, slams the butcher's knife into the table and like flicks it into the barrel with the fish, and he's like, "I'll get it later."
Fair enough.
What do you want to know?
Did you see anything?
Last night? No, I was late. I was gone. Pretty sure. I mean, I know a few people who've seen it. Do you want to know what happened?
I mean,
what I was told is that some guy, I think his name was David, something like that. He's on his way home, either on the other end of the bridge or further on. Out of nowhere, he was attacked. Some fella in a green cloak with a white strawberry on the back, and he attacked him, tore him in half, from what I heard, and once he started crawling off, finished him off, stamped on his head, and disappeared again.
You know what house the white strawberries from?
I don't know anything about the patriarchs. Don't associate with them.
That's fair enough. So he just came out the mist and then disappeared.
As far as I know, sounds like every other attack he's had.
So he just killed him there and then, and just left him for dead. Did nobody notice that he took anything from the man, or that he took a part of the man with him, or?
I mean, I heard someone say he threw something, but I don't know what.
In what direction did he throw it?
I guess, well, I don't know. Probably whichever side of the bridge the attack was on. He kind of points, probably east, whichever side's closest to the shops, wherever the attack was. Got anything else?
Don't think so.
Very good. Gets back to chopping.
I'm gonna go see if we can find a way through to the east.
You were just at the east.
So it was probably the arm then.
Okay. So surely it wouldn't have been from Davith then, the arm. Because surely someone would have said, oh yeah, this creature took this man's arm with him.
Well, the first thing he said was he heard that he tore him in half.
Ah, okay.
He said, just a recap, outside of a silly voice, so it's easier to understand. He said he'd heard the Green-Cloak killer had torn David in half, as he knows him, and thrown something, and then the guy had started crawling away, and he finished him off, stamping on his head, and then he'd thrown something. That's all he knew.
Okay. Before we go, can I just quickly ask them, man, do you happen to know where the body was taken? Did anybody come to take it to a morgue, or?
Probably one of the grave diggers from Tumble Mound probably came to take him, bury him. Tumble Down, sorry.
Right. Is that where all the bodies have been going?
Most of them, they're just chucking them in a mass grave now if they can't afford to bury them properly.
Right.
Or in the river, whichever's easier at the time.
Where'd you say we could get like an eyewitness account from?
I mean, I heard his... I don't know who saw it, I just heard it from someone else who heard it, from someone else who heard it.
Right. Alright. Hey, and start walking away.
Yep. See ya. Yeah. What would you like to do?
I don't know.
Why don't you just like go kill the guy?
We need to find him first, didn't we?
Yeah, we need details.
A white strawberry. We can.
We could be asked about that. Who would know?
We'll have to go
Are you
back to
not
the elves,
thought
I
about-
think, to ask about that.
Are you not thought about setting up a trap?
Yeah, I've thought about it. But we've got hours yet.
But where we're going to put the trap? Because I don't think he'd go at the same place twice, would he?
No, we've got everywhere else. We can pick. Somewhere else looks like it's going to be good. We'll go Stony Eyes, because that's right next to the gate.
Twin Songs is most likely next victim.
Well, he's hit Rivington, he's hit Stony Eyes,
He's
he's
hit
hit
them all.
No, he hasn't.
those
He hasn't
two.
hit Northchapel, White.
No, he's been doing it for 5 months. She gave you the last 5, she gave you the last week's attacks.
Like, off the last week attacks, he hasn't
Yeah.
hit Northchapel, White.
Would be handy if we
Twin
knew
Songs.
where he'd been.
And since his last two were Sow's Foot and Worm's Crossing, Twin Songs is a rather good bet.
True.
True. Yeah.
I mean, if I can perch myself on a roof, I can use echo from a distance.
Jess can pretend to be a vulnerable woman ready to be stabbed in the night.
Oh yeah, I'll just put myself up as a trap.
They're only far away.
Someone has to be the bait.
Just pretend to be like a prostitute on the corner or something.
Well, what a minute, who said? I said walk home, not fucking prostitute yourself.
I'm not going to, I'm just saying, just to
Jesus
pretend.
Christ.
I mean, that's not.
I mean,
what I'm
this
trying to do.
guy obviously wants to cleanse the outer city because they hate the people that live there. So
Look, if you want to dress up like a hooker, you can dress up like a
no,
hooker.
I'm not
saying
saying I
no.
want
I'm
to.
just saying, like,
I'm
I don't
just-
think it was
I
necessary.
don't even want
by
to
any
put
means.
myself up as the trap. I was just.
Well, you were rather into it a minute ago. You had some
No.
ideas flowing.
I didn't want
Yeah,
to.
is a thirst trap.
I'm just saying, like. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And what we've got to do
You know when you
is
got
watch
the
the
thing and
Hmm.
say again?
All we've got to do is watch for the. Well, realistically, we could hunt him down because we know what crest he's wearing.
Yeah.
But then we could also wait for him, see him, and then if he gets away, we can go hunt down where we think the house is that he would be and locate object that cloak
Mhm.
and see if he's in the house.
Mhm.
But we just have to So do you wanna go talk to River and then set up a trap, or do you wanna just wait around here and set up a trap?
Probably wait around here and set up a trap.
Now we've got to
So we
pick a place.
We're going to Twin Songs because it's between.
Probably the
well,
best
it-
idea.
Yeah, he's hit 3 of the places around there, so it kind of makes sense that he would go Twin Songs, like Jackson said.
Right, we'll pick Twin Songs as our target destination,
Mhm.
and we'll go pick out a street, somewhere where I can sit on a rooftop, where you're literally on the street front. So that way I'm not too far, but I'm not too close at the same time. And this is where the Uno reverse card's going to get played. It's going to be me that gets attacked, but it'll be fine. I'll sit there with Echo, ready to take a snipe. Because I'll use I've got a special type of shot which will stop him from running.
Mhm.
So I'll try to use that on him. So in that way he won't get away, and then we'll just try capture him.
Yeah. I'm kind of wondering how he disappears into the fog.
It'll be a
Like,
He's
do you
got
think it's
superhuman
kind of
strength.
invisibility?
No, he'll be a vampire. Superhuman strength, able to rip people in half.
You know, it's beginning to sound more and more like a Sahuagin. Attacks at night, the only time it's allowed out the house. Pale to bluey skin colour. Green-Cloak from the upper city.
Doesn't speak.
Doesn't speak.
also-
Superhuman strength.
Elsong Tavern's not from the upper city though.
Yeah, but it's within the walls.
That's true.
The only issue you've got is getting out of the walls.
He can swim. He can quite easily jump into the harbour and swim up the river.
Oh yes.
Mm.
Look, but I'm not there, guys. So you don't know that. I'm not there. I'm not there.
He's on walkie-talkie.
I'm rigging you up a little bit. Be like, what's up?
So we'll talk in generalities. We'll say you've got about an hour and a half before Samura is going to bamf into Riverlands. what are you doing in that hour and a half? You know, you've got like, it's not sundown for like 6-7 hours.
Do you think we should like warn the locals? Kind of say, well, not that. We don't want to.
Won't make a difference. I think we're better off just trying to find a place to pick. Try and make it enticing. But there's a good chance there's traps out there where it's going to pick someone around. It might not even be a twin song.
Yeah.
It could be anyone. So, do I just pick a spot and get ready to make a trap even though I've got like hours or nightfall?
I mean, if you want, you could try and follow up some of the things you've heard in the time. You got the family, you've got White Strawberry, you've got Patriarch Cloak.
Okay. But should we go see the wife?
Yeah, that's on the way back anyway.
Okay.
So you're looking for Davith's family.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously it'll take some asking around, but someone can eventually point you to Davith's former house in Twin Songs. Yeah, you knock on the door, you hear a woman's voice from inside. What do you want?
Are you Miss Rivet?
Who's asking?
Detective.
Where from?
Out of town. We're being hired to investigate a certain someone.
Make a persuasion check with advantage. The door kind of creaks open, and you see a dark-skinned woman with darker black hair. Kind of looks both of you over. Sorry, I thought you were going to be debt collectors. Come in. And she kind of opens the door enough so you can both kind of sneak in, and then she closes the door, locks it behind you. You hear about Davith?
Great, so I know it might be hard to talk about it not long after.
I wasn't there. I don't really know anything.
Did you see his body after?
Briefly, some of the morticians from Tumbledown came for him.
Can you describe the body? It's difficult as it may be.
You just see she's kind of picking at her thumbs, at like her thumbnails. Took his arm, crushed his head. There's not much more than that. Looked like he hurt him a lot. Didn't look like he... I mean, Davith wasn't really strong, but you couldn't just tear his arm off. He wasn't that weak.
Did you notice any like bite marks or anything on the body?
I don't think so. He was still wearing all his clothes. They were just quite bloody. I mean, something could have maybe bit his arm, but that's not what people are saying.
Alright.
I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah, go for it.
When you answered the door, you thought we were debt collectors. Why is that?
Baldur's Gate doesn't treat us very well. I thought, Davith has debts, and now that he can't pay them, I thought someone from inside the city might come looking.
Who does he have debts with?
He's got a few debts with people at the docks for chartering a fishing boat once or twice. I don't know. If he had any gambling, most of that was in the outer city, but he might have went into some Timoran temples once or twice. I don't know. He didn't really tell me much about it.
And did he receive any threats?
Yeah, well, not more than the usual. It's hard living out here. Just when Baldurians are passing through, they make idle threats. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing that makes me suspect anyone that I knew about.
Does a white strawberry strike any form of a memory?
Like strawberry.
Like someone wearing it as a family crest, maybe, or as a symbol somewhere?
I don't think so. Only fruit on a patriarch cloak is... Well, I'm not really familiar with them, but any fruit on patriarch cloaks, I don't know a strawberry.
Alright. I'm out of questions.
Right, well,
You got anything else?
Do you have anything off? I don't know how to word this, but it's sounding really weird. But do you have any items that were on Davith at the time of his death? And did you retrieve anything out?
she kind of turns around and she fishes through. She kind of goes to like just a cabinet just in the entry like foyer, and she kind of just takes off the top, just a little box of like bait and tackle from his. This was found on the street. Pretty sure it was his. He was a fisherman and he was coming back from work. I mean, I don't recognize it, but I'm not a fisherman. Didn't really pay much attention. It's just like a small wooden box, and you open it, and it's just got like mealworms and tackle and stuff in it.
Okay.
Any blood in it?
Nothing exciting then.
Not that you see.
Okay, well I guess that's it.
The elf song tavern, I guess.
I don't think there's anything else we could ask her. She seemed...
Yeah, she sees you out. She opens the door, unlocks it, opens the door, lets you out. And as she's closing it, she's like, What were we asking about the white strawberry? What's that?
Some people say they saw it on the cloak. I just wanted to see if you recognised it.
Well, I don't, but... I don't, but... You know, before Davith, I've heard people describe him, and they said his cloak's all fucked up and old. Maybe, maybe the image looks wrong.
You're onto something. Thank you.
She kind of... I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but it's not a white grape. But if the cloak is old, one of the houses does have silver grapes, not a white strawberry. But I don't want to get anyone in trouble. I don't know that, but maybe if it's old or torn or threadbare, maybe I think a white strawberry, a silver grape, if it could look like a white strawberry if it's old and worn.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you find him. And she closes the door and you hear a little lock.
Well, we'll go ask River and see what he... Not very well.
So close.
I know. It's gone. We'll just go ask the bloke at the Elfstone Town and see what he knows.
Alarm.
That's the one.
So you head back through the shanty towns. Probably about a 1.5 mile walk. So, you're looking at a half an hour. Blah blah. We'll say by the end, by the time you finish talking to Alon, that's probably when Samura's waking up from his nap. Yeah, you guys walk through the outer city and back through the main gate, the Basilisk Gate. They let you in, light fee for entry. Not enough to mark down because it's just a tiny amount of money. And you make your way back through the lower city to the Elf Song Tavern. And still quiet. Earlier in the day, it's pretty much just people are only there for not even food this early, just like people who are staying here might be coming and going through. So it's pretty much just Alan sitting at one of the tables doing like taxes, doing like mundane work, paperwork.
Can we have a minute?
Yes, I'm just finishing. And he scribbles, and he kind of closes a ledger, and he takes off his reading glasses, tucks them on his apron. Yes, please take a seat. How can I help?
We need to ask you about some houses. Like the higher up, the patriarchs or whatever.
The patriarchs. I'm not overly familiar, but I know bits here and there.
Do you know symbols of them? Think about
Some of them, there are quite a lot.
Do you recognize either a white strawberry or a silver grape?
I don't recognize white strawberries, but silver grapes. I mean, I don't recognize the symbol, but I know that House Bormul has investments in the silver mines and vineyards near here, so silver grapes.
You know where we'll be able to find them?
Bormul House is in Mannerborn. I believe you're familiar with Eomain House, so you're familiar with the area.
Yeah.
Favorite house?
It's great. It's still intact.
Basement's nice.
Yeah, Anya?
Well, I kind of had a hunch that it was going to be in Mannerborn, so I was thinking of casting Send into... Who was it again? Was it the whiskey lady? Was she the... No.
She was the kingpin. Yeah.
Yes. Can I cast Sending to the whiskey lady, please?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, how do I word it? What can you tell me about the House of Bornbull?
Just so you have it in your notes, right? It's Bormul, Bormul.
Okay. Specific. What can you tell me about the House of Bornbull? Information about the family. Any estranged family members, and then I'll just leave it there.
A few moments. Hello? I'm not overly involved with the Bormuls. They're into silver mines, vineyards, investing. Their family is from Ammon. There are still some there. I know they had an uncle or aunt or some such visit from out of town recently. That's as much waves as they've made as of late.
Shall we go investigate this so-called uncle?
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to do?
Should we go?
I guess so. Bornbull.
Yeah.
Born.
Guess we're heading to Mannerborn to go to the Bornbull house.
Just because I didn't correct Riverland when that was going on, and now it's just permanently become Riverland, it's Bormul. Bormul.
Okay, I'm very badly.
I let Riverland slide, and now Jackson just doesn't stop.
Born. Repeat it again. Born.
Bormul. Bormul.
Bormul. Can I just say the House of B?
Also,
Bitch
Or-
house.
I don't want to get told.
Yeah, you could say the house of Maya Bormul, who you met at the party.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Okay.
Oh
That's
no,
interesting.
we're gonna see her get stabbed.
Yeah, I did just think, what if the
Hell
creature,
yeah!
what if the creature has wings? That's how he disappears into the night, because he flies away.
Wings don't allow you to be invisible. That's not how
I know,
wings work.
but how he gets away so quickly. He flies away. Sorry, I'm just getting ahead of myself. I don't know anything.
Need to make sure you didn't think wings were the same thing as invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say that! I didn't say wings were the same.
I'm just checking, that's all. Sometimes I worry about you.
You're good friends with her, right? You can just message her. Be like, yo, can we come over for a bit?
Hey, I haven't seen you in like 3 months. Can I come over and just chat for a bit?
I mean, just in case anything is going on, do we really want to let them know that we're coming over? Because, I don't know, just in case something has to be in. I think we should just turn up.
If you want to just turn up, we'll just turn up.
Just turn up.
Yep.
You're heading into the upper city to Mannerborn to look for Bormal House. Yeah? Cool. Yeah, so, same journey you've done a few times. As the city gets much nicer and much grander as you flash your watch tokens that Goblin Benny had given you way back that allow you access into the upper city. And you are now, the nice cobbled streets, marble buildings, topiary gardens, and Bormal House itself, which you eventually find in Mannerborn, is very nice and decadent. The Baldurian branch of the Bormal family. So the actual family is in Ammon, way to the south, and this is like a part of the family that moved up here. They've got investments in silver mines and vineyards. They share that lineage with the Amnian family of the same name. Situated in the Mannerborn neighborhood, Bormal House is an elegant 3-story townhouse, just like Eomain House, but it looks a bit different. It's made of yellow granite and slate, with cream-coloured roses climbing its garden walls. So you recognize, you see it stands out. Yellow granite, black slate, cream roses. Once you're approaching, you see it, and you see security. All of these fancy houses have a guard or two stationed outside. Most of them just sitting on a stool, kind of reading or watching or talking, but a few of them standing more alert, kind of like spear in hand, or baton, as some of the more lower class ones have. At Eomain, you pass Eomain House, which you see has had some repairs done since a iron golem smashed its way out a while ago. That was the first time you were there. The second time you were there, you got into a huge fight with a Cambion and blew all the windows out, and a lion, and So Eomain House has been through the ringer, but you walk on past it a bit, you do see a young human man, kind of longish blonde hair, who just kind of has a baton attached to his belt, who seems to be sitting at the front door. He's just got a stool and he's reading a book by the front door, at the bottom of like some steps that lead up to the front door.
How do you want to go about doing this? How do you want to go about doing it?
I think we should try and get in the normal way first. If not, sneak in?
Yeah, we can try. Go on,
Yeah.
Ask to see if your friend's home and see if we can just...
Yeah, I was gonna... Okay, I'll approach and I'll say, hello, I'm here to see Maya B.
He's kind of looking down at his book, and he kind of shoots his head up, and he closes it with like his finger inside to keep his place. I wasn't told there would be any visitors today. Have you arranged this?
But we're old friends, and I'm in town, so I thought I'd surprise her.
He kind of looks you both up and down.
It's not that I don't believe you. It's just that Miss Maya hasn't told me anything. Any friends of hers with metal arms.
It's still covered up.
That looks worse.
Hasn't told me about any friends with mummy arms.
It got damaged on the way here. We got attacked.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage.
I'm in a suit of armor. It's not like it's like unheard of to be attacked along a road. Actually, that wasn't too bad. Persuasion, did you say?
Yes.
Really not. I can do maths would be great. 22.
22.
I rolled a 15 and a 19. And persuasion's high.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the master of the house to ask Miss Maya if she knows a. What are your names?
Anya and Duran.
Anya, Enderan, and you?
She doesn't know my surname, it's just Jennifer.
Okay, I'll get a message to her, okay?
And he just does like a polite nod and like tucks his book under his stool and heads up to the door. And he kind of goes inside and you hear some and you hear scuttering off as he kind of comes back and he's like,
I'm sure he'll be back in a bit if you just want to wait down on the road. That'll be alright. Picks up his book. Just a book.
I read books, but I'm not just a book.
Called Cleaver's Cross.
Yeah, never been. I'll tell you
okay. You all head back down and he just kind of sits back on his little stool, starts reading again. We'll say about this time, Samura, you awake.
Oh, finally. Teleportation circle, straight to Riverland.
Yeah, you wake up and you just kind of slam your hand on the teleportation circle in the back room and boom. You arrive on one of the elevated floors in Riverland's house. You see a bed, a double bed with two bookcases on either side and two plants kind of hanging over at the top, and then like some stairs come down to like a little library sitting area, and then a ladder comes down to where you are with the teleportation circle, and you see another ladder goes down to the actual shop floor beneath you.
I'll quickly scruffy up all my feathers and like curl my sleeves back and pull them up so they're just above my elbows. As if I've just been in been in like a proper fight, and then just go down and just like yawn.
Okay, yeah, so you head down and he's like, you see he's got like what looks like some electrical charging sticks, some kind of lightning rods, and he's kind of tapping either side of Jade's head, and you see like a little bit of charge kind of pass through, and he's just testing like various parts, and Jade's just kind of watching with the helmet everything he's doing. As Jade kind of looks up at you, he kind of follows the helmet line, and he's like, "Oh, you're back! Hey, hello!" And he puts the lightning rods on the ground.
Look, you look like you've been through the wars.
I'll stop fixing my hair and rolling my sleeves down. Oh yeah, I just help. Anya's birthday's coming up, and I thought I'd do something nice. Yes, electric works on her. I actually made my own spell where I can pump lightning into her, and then when she attacks someone, the lightning discharges onto them.
That's very interesting. Very, very cool. Could I talk to you in private?
And he kind of side-eyes Jade.
Yes. Jade, do me a favor. Can you just stand outside the door, maybe? But please don't get into any trouble.
Jade kind of like looks at both of you and just kind of like backward walks a bit.
She gets to the door. Give me the mace.
She puts a hand on it.
I'll walk over and put my hand on it and pick it up and walk back to Riverland.
She resists a little bit, but allows you to take it, and then she heads outside.
So like I said, that shouldn't happen. It is not in the parameters of the spell. Only thing I can really think of is there are certain spells that awaken intelligence in animals, specifically beasts. They can give an animal the ability to talk, or a plant. It is called Awaken Intelligence. It's a very powerful spell. You're actually familiar with the spell. It was used on Damon's lion, which is why it could talk. But it does not function on animated armor. I'm pretty sure she's possessed.
Well then, I don't entirely fancy the idea of her being possessed. So what can we do about that?
Well, how long has she been behaving this way?
Since the woods. So that would be. Is that like 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's been a few 10 days. Yeah, several 10 days, 2 or 3 10 days.
Yeah, 2 to 3 10 days in that woods when she found the chalice. Do you think somebody's soul has been trapped in the chalice and then converted over when she's picked it up?
As far as I am aware, and I'm not an expert. I am interested in the occult, but I'm not an expert. I'm pretty sure ghosts can only possess living creatures. I've never heard of them being able to possess animated armor, because they are not sentient. So we run into the same issue. This cup is definitely strange, this chalice, that Jade seems to have such an affinity for. If you say it was under strange circumstances, then I would assume that might be related.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to figure it out, but I'm at a loss. Do you have a next step?
A preacher, a pastor, someone with experience in exorcism. I am not myself overly familiar. Although, like I said, this is clearly not a regular haunting. If it is a ghost, clearly the glass chalice has altered the abilities or the parameters of whatever it is capable of, because otherwise it should not be able to possess Jade's type of life form, with it not being a life form. It is simply armor that is given rudimentary enchantments to move at command. It has no intelligence. It has no life. Or it has a modest amount of intelligence. Good to hear, Alice. So I forget exactly where we were, but yeah, in general, Rivelin tells you, Samara, that a strict haunting, possession by a ghost should not be able to affect an animated armor, but vice versa. There is nowhere in the spell parameters that allow an animated armor to gain intelligence without outside interference. So either, if we're going with the theory that the chalice is the catalyst, either there is some sort of spirit linked to the chalice, or there is some sort of ability within the chalice that has awoken something in Jade.
I don't know how this is gonna work. If it can't talk, I don't know how it's gonna work at all. But I'm gonna message the chalice.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, hello. Can you hear me? Are you sentient, basically?
You don't get a response, but that doesn't really tell you anything. You don't. That could be something there, and it could be choosing to not reply.
I'm gonna message Jade. I'm gonna focus on Jade this time. Say the exact same thing, and obviously I'm looking at her outside the window, through the window or the door of the shop. See what happens.
You see the helmet swivel towards you. You don't know if it's in response to the message or if she's just kind of checking if she can come back in yet.
I'll call her in.
She comes in.
And I'll
She puts her hand out.
I'll hand her a mace. I'll look at her. I'm just gonna look at her plainly and just go, did you get my spell there, or were you just checking up? Thumbs up if you heard my spell.
Swivels the helmet.
Right, I guess that confirms my original suspicion. Turn to Rivlon. Point me at some direction, a shop, some ghost hunter. Where am I going? I will go sort it out.
I think you need a holy man.
Oh, okay, yeah, you know where to find one? Or just any church?
Aren't you friends with one?
Yes, but his abilities are below average in the ghost department. He likes fire, not much of a holy man at the end of the day.
Well,
Can cleanse everything.
I mean, if it's I really don't know. You need a priest, an exorcist, a holy man. Try temples, churches. But again, I'm not entirely convinced it is a possession. My working theory is it's a possession, but from what you've said, it sounds like it could be an equal number of implausible things. This doesn't seem to fit within the rules of what I know.
Right, I'll sort it out. I'll probably be back. I'm not sure. I'll sending you if I figure it out, and I don't need to come back. But I'm gonna end up back here. For now, I've got
Very good.
The other two are on a job. I gotta catch up.
Okay, well, just let me know if you need me for anything. That's fine. Thank you for your visitation. Good luck.
I'll cast sending, and I'll go find them. Basically, it's just he's at the tavern. Cool. I'm on my way.
Well, they're at the house. They're investigating the house.
No,
Yeah,
we're at the
they're at
tavern,
the
buddy. We're at the tavern.
That's cool. I'm on my way.
We're at the tavern.
Well, if they choose to lie to me, that's their choice. But I'm assuming they won't.
No.
So are you making your way to Bormal House?
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, we'll say, yeah, Samara is still probably going to be like 5-10 minutes out by the time you see this balding, grey-haired, where there is hair gentleman, fairly tall, wearing like a nice long tail suit, kind of opens the door and he's like, are you Ricky? And the guard's like, yeah, come on. And he kind of motions for you to come back up. I assume you to be Mrs. Anya and Mr. Eartha, friends of Miss Maya.
Yes.
Miss Maya says she recalls Miss Anya, but she does not recall you, Mr. Eartha. But she will, if you are a friend of Anya's, she will allow you entrance to Wormel House. Please, you may meet her in the lounge. And she and as you kind of enter, you notice it's a very similar layout to your main house. You kind of walk through a foyer out into a big open gallery room with like a nice like library and collection on display, and they're all kind of and like a nice big window that looks out into a garden. And there is a side door that he leads you through and motions you in, and you see Maya is there. Just to remind you of Maya, her family is from Ammon, so she has long, dark black hair, kind of cut like just straight and long, kind of with a fringe. She has dusty amber skin, kind of eye makeup that points upwards into the sides, and some like light blue accents around some of her face. And she's wearing a nice kind of golden entertaining dress. And as you guys come in, she kind of like motions for you to have seats. There's like there's a window on the same side of the wall as the window outside. There is a big sofa and there's a big sofa
a lounge chair and like 2 futons, and she's sitting on one of the armchairs, and you can kind of situate yourself wherever you please. And there's like a little coffee table with a tea set on that you can pour for yourself if you wish.
I must say I'm surprised you've come to visit me. How can I help?
And when Anya take the lead, it's her friend.
I know, the thing is, what do I say really? Because
Do you want me to slightly ruin this, but do it straight up? Just be as blunt as possible.
hey, it's one of your family members, a serial.
No. I've got a few questions. Do you want me to ask some questions?
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, probably didn't meet properly. Anya told me to meet you at the party after she had spoken to you, but there's a few interruptions.
It's a lot of people at that party. We might have been introduced. I can be forgetful of faces sometimes.
Don't worry about it. Fortunately, we're not here for a nice chat, but a few questions we need to ask you. We're going around asking everyone, so don't worry about it.
She kind of leans forward, pours herself tips some sugar into her tea. I am very intrigued. Please.
First off, out of curiosity, what is your house symbol?
Well, the symbol of House Bormul is the silver grape, which represents our investments in the city's silver mines, not just in the city, but from here to Ammon, and as well as our very prosperous vineyards, as far north as Waterdeep.
Ooh, quite a collection you got there. So, your family, are they all up here, or are they like mostly down in Ammon?
Most of them, the Bormuls of Ammon are much larger than the Bormuls of Baldur's Gate. I forget if it was my great-grandfather or my great-great-grandfather, but one of them moved him and his children here, and the family line continued as it would.
That's going to be an awkward / weird question. But is there anyone in your family who has a very pale skin?
And she kind of gestures. We're not famous for it. We're from Ammon.
That's why I said it would be a bit of an awkward question.
I can't think of anyone. I had an uncle visit recently, but he's darker than us. He's from Ammon. Probably about this point, Samara, you and Jade arrive outside.
Don't. Buddy. Can't hear you.
I'll walk up to the guard.
And he looks up and he's like, "Working, whoa, hello, you're very colourful."
Yeah, thank you. Is this Bormul house?
Yes, this is.
My 2 friends are in here.
Oh, the one with the weird arms.
I get it. He's very weird. I have something to cover up that arm. It's ugly as hell, isn't it? It's off that. Honestly, don't get me started. I could be here all day talking about that goddamn arm.
Make a persuasion check with advantage.
I don't have any dice.
One of those sessions.
Coordinate 2 hours, he doesn't have dice.
I haven't needed to roll anything. I've been asleep. It's a 21, I believe.
21.
Yeah.
He kind of looks behind them. You know, they just went in. I'm sure Morty won't mind. Yeah, come on. I'll let you in. They're just in the lounge. Just go down the end of the foyer and turn right, first door. You'll see it. And he opens the front door and lets you in.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you. I'll shake his arm, and I'll the way you shake someone's arm, but you grab their arm with your other hand as well.
Yeah, sure. Very hearty. He's like, oh yeah. He pats you on the back. And I will say, just in case, and I don't expect you to do anything. He closes you in the front door. There's a long hallway for you. You are alone. There is no one with you.
What's in this room? What are you said some artifacts or some
So
show
the foyer itself, the foyer is very similar to the Aomain one. It's kind of just a boot room and a cloak room, and there is a big painting of the family on the wall. It's just kind of a hallway that's all three of those things that breaks out into the gallery with a big window that looks over the garden to the right. And the gallery's just, it's just a gallery. It's got paintings, little trinkets, books, library stuff. And you see a dining room at the far end. And then, at the end of the foyer to the right, you see the door into the lounge where Anya, Eartha, and Maya are. But you also see, staircases that go up, down, another door to the left. You do know, presumably there are other people all about this house. You just don't know where they are.
Yeah, I know I'm not alone. I'll play nice. I'll go into the room with Anya and Eartha.
So you guys, Eartha, as she just answered that question, the door kind of creaks open, Samura skitters in. Oh, another friend of yours. Please, there should be enough tea for everyone. Please, have a seat. And you can sit yourself wherever you please. Or stand, or whatever.
Huh.
Do you have any more questions?
Yeah, a few. Is anyone in your family who's able to use, magic?
No. If we are in need of magic, we typically just pay for it.
Does Samurai know what's happening? Or is Samurai just kind of like expecting to be filled in afterwards?
Yeah, I don't think you know. You don't know what job they're on or anything.
I'll turn to the other two.
What's going on?
Just whisper, but like it's one of those like whispers where she can clearly like tell what I'm saying. She can hear me. But like, sorry I'm late. But what are we doing? What's happening?
Alright, I'm just gonna be blunt now. I'm just gonna tell her the truth. Not that I haven't been alive, just haven't told her why we're here. So we are basically here because obviously there's been some murders in the slums, and we've been hired to seek out this murder. And a lot of eyewitness accounts say they saw them wearing a dark cloak that a lot of the houses, like the big families around here, wear. But they depicted either a white strawberry or a silver grape. But because the cloak's so old, they couldn't depict which one it was. So we're just following leads to see if we can come any closer to finding that person.
Can I quickly interject right at the end of his sentence, turning to her, and just without even knowing really what's happening, go, not that we would ever claim it was anyone of this house, but if there's been any burglaries or newcomers, or if you've been helping some people in need and maybe handed out a cloak, because I know you are all, I presume you're a very generous household from the looks of it.
We are. I'm afraid I can't help you. It sounds terrible, and I'm sure it will be handled. But I don't know what else I can offer.
Not a problem. Unless Annie has any more questions, I'll leave you to your day.
Did she say that Uncle was dark-skinned?
Yes.
Yes, he's from, the Middle East, essentially.
Okay, so it doesn't fit the description.
Actually, one last question. How long has your uncle been up here? And is he still up here?
No, my uncle left a little while ago now. He stayed with us for... let me check. He was only staying with us for the spring. It was more of a holiday than anything. He wasn't here long.
About 5 months?
He's been gone for about a month. But he was here for 10 days.
Thank you. I'll get up to leave, but I want to make sure that I take a look at that family portrait on the way out.
Okay. Okay. What about you, Samurai? You doing anything else?
Just on my way out, I'll just turn to Eartha and go, yes, I really think we're onto something here. We're doing some good work. What
Shut up, you just
fuck's
got
happening?
She kind of leads you out. She's the first to go to the lounge door, and you notice she locks it and kind of turns so her back is pressed against it. You know,
Go that way.
my friend Rusora told me the damnedest thing. You see, her sister Nicene was horribly injured, and she described some strange folk who were there that night, and one of them was a 6-foot-tall parrot.
Who's nice?
How about we... She kind of raises a hand. How about we stop talking in innuendo and veiled threats, and we start talking plainly on the table?
Alright, I'll tell you exactly why we're at that household if you want.
I would love nothing more. Nicene's a bit of a cunt.
Well, we were there because she had an artifact that was very dangerous, so we went to go collect it. However, we were beat to it by the person who were trying to take it wrong. That person then proceeded to attack and beat up Nicene. We then proceeded to kill the person who beat up Nicene and take the key. You know that
She kind of...
dodgy thing around the neck?
She's like, that was an artifact. You see, you get a sense a lot of these richer people, you know, from their galleries and things, they're very interested in old things. They like collecting, antiquarianism. And she's like, what kind of artifact? She kind of leans forward.
A very evil one.
Well, where is it?
Good question. We don't know. We lost it. It was stolen.
Wonderful. Sounds like it found its way into better hands. But that explains Nicene's nasty behaviour, at least.
Yes, it corrupts
So-
the person making the music, regardless of what they were to begin with. Fun fact, you wanna know how to destroy it? This one will really tickle you. So you know, you seem to be into the gory stuff.
Okay.
The only way to destroy it is to have a cleric attuned to it, then eat the key, and then you have to kill the cleric.
Sounds very bloody.
Just a little bit. I
She
can't remember
unlocks
if
the
that's
door.
actually true.
It was a lot more than that.
Yeah, no, I was just summed up.
But yeah, most of that's involved. She opens the door, and you all trickle out, and she's like, come with me. And she leads you to the door to the basement. Very similar placement to where the basement into Aomain House was, that Samura had to go into to clip through the wall into the vault.
I wanna...
As she opens the door, can I just say to her in like a little bit of a whisper so not everybody's hearing? Like us four can, but like there's no one else outside of the group. You don't by any chance know about any ancient golems living under your house, do you?
I'm not overly familiar, but I'll safely assume where that came from as well. When she motions with her hands, and yeah, she leads you down the stairs, dark. She kind of lights some candles and some braziers as she goes past with a trade candle. When my uncle came, he left some curious items. We didn't have the space, so we put them in the crypt. And as she gets down to the bottom, and you see chained to the wall, this figure you've been looking for, screaming and roaring as it sees you. Chained, manacled to the wall. And you see this is a family crypt. You see there are spaces in the walls for people to lie with stone effigies covering their remains. This man, dark hair, like raked dark hair, bluish, the skin color of, a dead person. A light blue. Very muscly and large. and draped in a dark green cloak, threadbare, torn in places and worn out, where it just kind of tatters off into nothing. And it's just kind of roaring at you. And you notice it's covered in a bit of blood. And as you reach to the bottom of the stairs, she kind of leads you in, and you can very clearly see it. I happened to be burning the midnight oil last night, and I noticed this one coming home. And she kind of looks at you, mainly you, Eartha. Do you know how to get rid of it? Or what it is?
I will try to determine what it is before I do anything.
Sure. Make an intelligence check. With advantage, because clerics have a thing with the undead. Yeah, sure.
18.
I got it. Just straight intelligence.
Yes.
15.
18 and 15. Okay. This is clearly a dead pit. This is clearly some sort of undead. That much is completely obvious just by looking at it. The blue skin, the patchy hair falling out, the cloudy, milky eyes like they've been long faded. Clearly maybe what you assume is one of these items that this uncle had left has awoken one of these ancestors who was buried in their cloak. This appears to be a revenant. An undead who comes to life focused on a vengeful goal. And they do not, just to give you some more details on that kind of stuff, the Revenant knows the distance to and direction of any creatures against which it seeks revenge, even if the creature and the Revenant are on different planes of existence. If the creature being tracked by the Revenant dies, the Revenant knows. This thing has a supernatural link to every poor person outside the city walls, and it's trying to end its undead suffering by plucking them one by one.
What challenge rate? That's going to be an interesting question, because I don't know if I can know that.
I'll say, in general, it's single digits. Middling single digits.
So it's not a half?
No.
Damn, so I can't use it. Okay. Can I put a bullet between its eyes and will that kill it?
You can try.
I will pull out Omen and take a shot at its head.
Okay. I'll say it's a free hit. You hit. What's the damage?
That's a good point. Didn't think I was going to look at damage. Oh, mate. 10. Max damage.
So with Omen, you walk up, kind of point blank, just shoot it in the forehead, and it its head roars up, and you see shit flesh blown out, and it roars in pain. After about a minute, stitches back together.
I have a slight idea.
Whilst he's going through his idea, can I cast Analyze Opponent to learn its weakness?
Sure. Would I know whether it's a shape changer? I'm assuming it's not, but just...
I'll say no, it's not a shape changer. It is just the more powerful reanimated corpse of an individual who has this is an unusual case. Mostly what happens is a person dies and they are so vengeful that when they die, they immediately get back up as a revenant who seeks to finish their goal.
Right. I'm gonna try and polymorph the creature then.
Okay, also there are no weaknesses.
Okay, so it needs to do a wisdom saving throw, and it needs to hit 17.
Polymorph won't do anything for it.
It might, because if you one-shot it, it may straight up die.
It won't. Because it will
It got 16.
polymorphed. I'm gonna polymorph it into. Gotta be careful here, because it's chained up for a reason.
Yes.
Well, I found it going back to sleep, and I had some friends help me bind it and get it on the wall before it sprung back up again.
I'm not gonna polymorph it.
Okay.
I'm gonna revert that change.
Can I pick my memory and see if I know any way to deal with revenants? So you know, I am a cleric, and the undead is kind of my thing.
Yeah, make another intelligence check. I'll say with advantage, sure.
I'll turn to the woman and ask her about the objects you left and whether I can identify them if she lets me.
I can describe them to you, although I've had them removed.
Yes, that'll work then. Best we thought.
I can't tell you specifics. Some of them looked occultish, but it was mostly a few discarded bags, a suitcase, a hessian sack, a satchel filled with things, trinkets, odds and ends, garbage, really.
Any sort of like arcana check or anything I can do to just see, like, think about.
Without, anything,
Yeah.
found in the wrong place, anything found in like a crypt or a dungeon or a temple, it could be haunted as shit. If the putting somewhere from somewhere bad in somewhere else bad, it's just a chain reaction. If any, it could be anything, and it was just a dangerous situation.
I'm gonna get Jade to punch it in the face.
Got 19.
19 on your intelligence, Jade, and it leans forward, tries to bite at Jade. Eartha. When the Revenant's body is destroyed, its soul lingers. After 24 hours, the soul inhabits and animates another humanoid corpse on the same plane of existence and regains all its hit points. While the soul is bodiless, a wish spell can be used to force the soul to go to the afterlife and not return. A wish spell is the only way of permanently dealing with a Revenant. You could kill it, and it could wind up on the other side of the world completely, but it will make its way back one step at a time to finish its goals.
Yeah, see, I have a wish spell,
You do have a scroll, yes.
but I haven't told these two yet either.
No, and it's not guaranteed to work.
So I'll turn to these two, and I'll tell them exactly that. But I won't tell them I have the scroll just yet.
Well, if we don't have the scroll, we could always just kill it. That I'll turn to the woman and say, that gets this sort of horrific deed off your family's back. They will never know it was your family, unless it somehow gets the exact same corpse, but I mean, unlikely. Most likely it'll be somewhere else in the world, and yes, it'll make its way back, but your family's in the clear, but we stopped the murders for quite a long time.
Depends where it ends up, though.
I mean, the chances of it ending up here, population-wise...
It's not a perfect situation. Does anyone have a better suggestion? Do we know how to take care of it properly? Did you share the wish spell? Like, not that you have it, but did you share that that's how you take care of it? Well, fuck. It's not exactly something you stumble upon every day, so... If in your professional opinion that's all that can be done...
Now, you see, I may or may not have in my possession a wish spell scroll, which I may or may not have been gifted. But don't worry about the details of how I got that. However, there is not a good chance this will work, because none of us are strong enough to cast that.
Can't stop the work! The Revenant shouts from the wall.
Stop what work.
Spits.
Just backhand him with the metal hand, although it's like covered up, so it hurts even more.
you see some cuts that don't bleed form across his face and heal back over.
I'll hand him his sleeve for his armor now as well. Oh yeah, I got you a present, by the way.
What's this?
Your ugly ass arm.
Not bad, I quite like it. I'll put it in the back of the for now.
This bitch.
So,
Let me down, and we'll have a fair fight.
but then, if we win, you still won't go away.
That's because the work isn't done.
So what exactly is your work? I'm curious.
I have to cleanse this city.
But when you think about the city's only on the inside, not the outside. So why are you killing people on the outside, not the inside?
They cling to our city like a leech.
Technically the same as you then. You're clinging to life like a leech, even though you've already lost that.
I was given life by the gods to do my work.
Which gods?
All of them.
All of them? I don't believe that.
It is not for you to believe, pauper.
I'm gonna sit down and cross my legs, and I am going to pray to the Red Knight. And what I'm gonna say is, prove this man a fool.
Okay.
Do you want to roll a check or anything?
Roll a D100. With disadvantage.
It's fair.
Actually, I'm going to say straight roll because you know it.
71.
Okay?
Bring him closer. It's been a while since I've had chicken.
He's a parrot, not chicken. Oh,
To be honest,
It's the same.
your god didn't answer for some. Maybe he's right, but
is
you
turkey
know.
and chicken? Do you ask my god?
Yeah. She
The
didn't
gods
answer.
are on my side.
I'm more than certain a couple of them will be.
I will kneel down, pull out my prayer material, my little chess piece, and pray to the Red Knight to grant me the power to send the Revenant to the afterlife, where it needs to be.
I pray to the Red Knight to stop that. I'm kidding.
Roll a D100.
What does 0-0 mean again? That's just straight 0, isn't it?
I forget.
That's 100. That's 100.
Well, no, because...
Yeah, it goes 0-0 to 99. Yeah.
Yeah, because 0-0 has to be 100 because there's a 10 on the D100, and it goes 0-1 to 9. So the 0 has to be a 0. So that's a straight 100.
I rolled 0-0-0. I don't know what that gives you, but... Not 0-0-0. Yeah, wait, yeah.
If you got double 0 on the 100 die, that is 100.
I know, but I used
I believe.
100 die, not the other one like I should have.
In the abstract religious sense, you are asking for tools that your god has already given you,
So I have to use the scroll.
if you want to. It's also not your problem.
I could try destroying them, but it's too strong.
Could you cast it at a higher level?
No. It scales with you, and the highest thing I can destroy is a challenge rate half. I mean, I'll try to destroy undead. Sure, I'll try to destroy undead. It needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
It has no effect.
Yeah.
The Revenant is immune to effects that turn undead and beyond.
I'm gonna to go to the Revenant. Not close enough for it to kill me, but just close-ish, and go. I mean, as a Revenant, surely you know a couple things about the undead, then? About spirits, ghosts, as they say.
I don't know shit, but one day I woke up with purpose.
Do you remember your purpose before you woke up?
What?
When you were alive?
My purpose has always been the same.
So when you were alive, you tried to kill the poor people too?
I did not have the power to do what I wanted.
Oh, so when you were alive, you were useless.
I used political power. Now I use real power.
Oh, political power is so scary. Walk away.
Step closer. Chicken.
I'm not the idiot who was chained to a
Is this
wall.
technically a curse?
Make a religion or intelligence. I will let you choose. You can make a religious, a religion or an intelligence check.
Make a religion, if it's a lot higher. Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20. I'm gonna guess no, considering that it specifies. Because if it was like use wish or remove curse, I'm gonna guess no, but I will check the wording for you. Nope.
Nope. Worth a try.
Good idea though. So, are you going to use the wish spell?
I'm not.
I can pay you if that's the problem. If you'd like compensation, I understand they're not common.
Well, I mean, this thing was bought for 500,000 gold. I know you're a rather big family with a rather lot of money.
Make a deception check.
How much was it?
Well, it was bought with
It was free.
500,000. No, but it was bought. Just
Yeah.
we didn't buy it.
That is fair
Deception
point.
check.
I haven't lied. I've left out details. That's a 17.
You also weren't there.
17 plus. Okay, it's 21 total. But yeah, okay, I guess I wasn't there. No, I was there, wasn't I? We all saw it get
Not
lost,
when
didn't
she
we?
gave it to him. You don't know how he got it.
Oh, but that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
That is quite a lot of money. Enough that I cannot take out on credit out of my family's accounts.
How much can you take out?
That's not a very good negotiation technique for me to be privy. Is it coin you want? Or do you have anything more abstract?
Interesting.
Perhaps you'd like to know where I saw another one of those strange keys that hung around Nicene's neck.
Yeah, sure. That's good enough for me. I'll give Sam.
Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. You want a wish spell for some information. Now, I understand it's important information, but at the end of the day, that's a world-ending event, the information you're giving us. And we're not going to be able to stop it. don't think where to find something is the equivalent of a wish spell.
Oh, well,
I understand that's a lot,
I know what to do with the key when I get it. I know where I'm taking it.
but
There's nothing stopping us once we get it. From me going where I need to go.
I think the location of the key is majority stake of the wish spell. But I think just slightly more compensation in the gold market, 5 to 10 grand, would also be respectable, since it is a wish spell, and the pressure this is putting on your family name, if found out, could be immeasurable.
Or I don't tell you where I saw the key. The choice is yours.
Well, it's not my spell, luckily, so you only have to argue with him, but I'm ready to walk.
What's my likelihood of passing this wish spell? Jack's not saying that you.
25% would be my bet. Although I think it automatically works. I think it's 25% that you can never cast Wish again. If I stand correct. I'm looking now.
It's a 9th level spell though, right?
Oh, yeah, so you've got to roll 19 to hit it. So you've got to roll 11 to hit. What's your plus? What's your spell attack bonus?
8.
Yeah, so you gotta roll 11 to hit. I'd only have to roll 10, so like, you know, it's a 50-50 if I hit it.
I can always cast Bardic Inspiration, can't I? That adds to the
So,
attack.
Yeah. So we could Bardic Inspiration, which that's a minimum of 1 as well. It's a minimum. I know it can do a lot more, but as a minimum of 1, then the lowest we would have to hit is a 9, making it more likely to hit. If I
you also have to kill this thing first.
Yes.
That's doable. It's chained up.
Yeah.
Jim,
Screw it, we'll give it a go.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you were to lob its head off, would it like go back on?
You don't know?
Don't want me to find out for you right now.
Yeah.
Well, we're willing to do the wish spell if this works.
It's on you, buddy. That's your spell, Squirrel. I've got time stop. I've got my own issues.
Oh, screw it, yeah. So what was it I need to do? Which I needed to wish that the soul went back to the afterlife. Or something.
A wish spell can be used to force the soul to go to the afterlife and not return.
Right, okay. I have to word it carefully though, don't I?
And there is 24. You have 24 hours in between when you kill it and when it will find a new host.
Right.
Yes, you have to be very specific with the wording, else it might bite you.
I'm gonna pull out Flame Tongue and try to take its head off.
Are you using the fire damage?
Yeah.
You speak the word ash and flame tongue bursts to life. And he does not like that.
What the fuck are you doing, pauper scum?
And as you and what are you just lobbing at his head?
I'm gonna try go like round to the side of him, but so he can't like hit me. Just execute
Sure.
in a style, just
One hit will not be enough, but the fire does stop his regeneration. So if you just kind of fucking wail at him with the lit sword, you will eventually you just spend like a minute like just chopping into him like Fruit Ninja with this flaming sword, and just like burnt pieces of his corpse flying everywhere as he screams and shouts all manners of profanities. Some you don't even understand because they're from like 200 years ago, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? And yeah, everyone just kind of like Maya just kind of watches like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
Can I
at
use
one
control
point.
flames on Ellis's sword to make the flames go directly into his face more?
Sure, yeah. At one point, just in case you want to save it, but it's fine if not. The cloak begins to catch on fire, and that begins to blacken and burn around him as well, kind of catching around his face and then lighting his hair on fire. And yeah, eventually you land the last strike, and his bottom half just falls to the ground and splays as he unleashes one last roar, and yeah, the revenant stops moving.
I will turn to Jess and say, I'll need the inspiration.
Wait, okay, 1 minute. If we're doing this, me or Jess needs to cast it. We have an extra.
Well, I'll give it.
We have
to
an
you.
extra 1 to our spell attack
I'll
bonus.
give it to Jackson because Jess is doing the inspiration, so she'll be focused on that.
Just because we have better odds
So
of
Anya
it
is
working.
giving Samura bardic inspiration, and Samura is casting the wish spell.
But
Okay.
you need to word it very carefully.
I didn't really want it to be me, but I guess it has to.
Let me just. Wish is the mightiest spell a mortal creature can cast. By simply speaking aloud, you can alter the very foundations of reality in accordance with your desires. The basic use of this spell is to duplicate any other spell of 8th level or lower. You don't need to meet any requirements in that spell, including costly components. The spell simply takes effect. Alternatively, you can create one of the following effects of your choice, just in case Samura is tempted.
That's why I wanted gold, man.
You create one object of up to 25,000 gold pieces in value that isn't a magic item. The object can be no more than 300 feet in any dimension, and it appears in an unoccupied space you can see on the ground. You allow up to 20 creatures that you can see restore hit points, blah blah. Yeah, you undo a single recent reroll by, reversing time temporarily. You can essentially do anything and we'll work together to understand it, but you have to word it carefully, otherwise fate. So, for example, wishing that a villain were dead might propel you forward in time to a period when that villain has died of old age. So that's how careful you have to be. It's like talking to a genie, it wants to trick you.
Yeah.
And you must start with, and then we'll get into the stress component afterwards, and start with I wish.
Yep. Jess, what do I get in this bardic
wait.
inspiration stuff?
I'm going to take an inspiration.
Yeah. Inspiration for the bardic inspiration.
Yeah. Let's do it again.
What'd you get?
Go for.
That's fine. So I have to roll a 6. I gotta roll a 6 or higher.
How many inspiration you got?
1.
Natural 20.
15.
15. Okay, so 15, that's what, 23?
Yeah, 24 is what I rolled.
24.
Right.
You break the seal on the scroll, and this is I think this is the most powerful spell you've ever cast easily.
Yeah, because Ellis did the dominate monster.
Correct. Yeah, you unwind the scroll and it fights you. It's very the words on the page are blinding as you read it. You read the initial components of the spell. The only component is verbal anyway. You read the words of the spell, and then you get to the point where there's somehow wind in this basement. Eartha, your amulet is going insane. It's buzzing into your chest, it's digging into your chest. Yeah, you get to the part where you have to say I wish, and yeah.
I wish for this revenant's soul to pass to the afterlife while unaffecting the rest of the world.
Amulet stops buzzing. Wind fades. The scroll burns into ash in your hands, and all the ash falls to the ground. Let's find out about stress. The stress of casting this spell to produce any effect other than duplicating another spell weakens you. After enduring that stress, each time you cast a spell until you finish a long rest, you take 1d10 necrotic damage per level of that spell. This damage can't be reduced or prevented in any way. In addition, your strength drops to 3 if it isn't 3 or lower already for 2d4 days. Roll 2d4.
1, 4, 5 days.
So your strength is 3, which I think is like -7 or something for
I think
5
it only
days.
goes down to -5 if you're at 1, so it should be -4.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
For each of those days that you spend resting and doing nothing more than light activity, your remaining recovery time decreases by 2 days. Finally, there is a 33% chance that you are unable to cast Wish ever again if you suffer this stress. So there is a 1/3 possibility you will never be able to cast Wish again. So
Do I need to roll that now?
no, I'm gonna do something. I've got this bit of paper.
Right.
I am going to write a number on this piece of paper. It is either going to be the number 1, the number 2, or the number 3. I want you to guess which number it is, and if it is the same number, you are permanently unable to cast Wish ever again.
Cool. I've got my number.
Okay?
3. 3.
Oh.
Ah, good. I mean, I'm not getting to that level, but if we return in the future, we can use that.
Samura, you feel very accomplished, and you feel like this really strong pressure crush down on you from the weave, and you feel you manage to shake it off.
So does he still have like the -3?
Yeah.
Not -3. Like the
I have the
strength
3 strength.
Yeah, he's got a 3 in strength for the next 5 days. Yeah.
Nice one.
So you are like, Samurai, you are like exhausted. You are very depleted by that.
Did
Just
not
kind
say
of
you
like
could
drop
rest
to
it.
my knees and just lie down.
Say again, sorry,
Did
Alex?
not say you could spend like a couple of days resting. It will decrease.
For each of those days that you spend resting and doing nothing more than light activity, your remaining recovery time decreases by 2 days. So if he doesn't do anything for 3 days, then it'll go away after 3 days.
We need to get a wheelchair or like a barrel or like
Yeah,
something so you can
light
carry me
activity-
round.
Light activity, that's just walking, right?
Yeah, light activities, yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can have Jade carry you.
Yeah,
Just
I'll
pick
do
it
that.
up.
I'll get Jade to scoop me up and hold me in like a weapon carry position.
Oh, that's that problem done. Hopefully.
So the key.
Yes.
I saw it not long ago. About 10 days ago or so. No, less than. Anyway, it was on a gentleman passing through Baldur's Gate. I recognized it because I'd seen it on Nicene before. I have no idea whether he's still in Baldur's Gate or...
What do you look like? Was he bald?
Yes. Darkish skin. No hair. Well, a little bit of hair, not much. Shaven head. Yes.
What kind of armor was he wearing? Or was he just in leathers?
He was just in travelling attire, no armour. Just travelling clothes.
Right. Don't think I have anything else on him. I'm just gonna double check to see if I've got anything else on him. Do you look kind of roguish?
It wouldn't surprise me if he were a rogue, but I wouldn't say he screamed roguishness, but certainly possible. I only got a quick look at him. I wasn't really paying attention to him. I recognised the key.
Can I ask which way was he heading? Was he like heading? Like if if the direction he was heading would lead to a gate, what gate do you think he would end up at?
I'm not sure. I saw him in the market.
Oh, you
What
could
do
be
you see him buy anything?
You could be heading to the back dragon gate, which leads towards the citadel.
Yeah, my idea exactly.
I really wasn't paying much attention to his actions. Although, I told Nicene a similar story, having seen her with the key before, and last I heard, she did say she'd managed to track him down, and she'd spoken with him.
Great.
So perhaps that would be a start. I mean, if, like you said, you perhaps even saved her from this other assailant, maybe she'll be grateful. But I wouldn't count on it.
No, neither would I.
To be fair, we did lie to her when we said we didn't have the key, but we did. So
No, we didn't have to know we had it. We just need to know that it was taken before we could get it. Which was
No, I
taken.
think, and I see what, but yeah. But we'll end there. We'll end there, and we'll come back next week, just so we don't overrun too much more. And yeah.